Welcome to my podcast, Cool Down with Abhay, where I bring in different people from the sports industry to come and engage in conversation with me so that you and I can learn more about the Indian sports ecosystem. Let's get right into it. Women's football. So we can actually start this off in a very positive note because in AFC Women's Asian Cup hosting rights. So this is a very positive thing that's happening with Indian women's football right now. We're even set to host the Under 17 Women's World Cup in February of next year, which is a big step. So I would ask you, Anjali, the players receive from AIFF and what do you think could be improved for the welfare of the players?
So basically, recently we heard about some issues about some of the under 17 players not being able to get enough of nourishment. But honestly, I think we should call a spade a spade. And to be fair, who is part of their team, and they were trying to reach out to all the players. But unfortunately, some of these girls come from very remote places, and they have very little access to online connectivity, and it is difficult to actually be in touch with them first because of the lack of communication. But the minute the AIFF found out about it, immediately all the players were sent some monetary help immediately so as not to have any such problems. So as far as the national teams are concerned, I think the AIFF is doing a fantastic job. They're doing everything that they are possible in terms of getting an international coach, a goalkeeper coach, a fitness coach, nutrition, training sessions, high level training sessions, exposure trips for these teams. And it's we have to talk about how the Indian women's team have done in the last 1 year. The senior women won the SAF Cup, the under 15 games, and Ashalata Devi has been named as the AFC Player of the Year. And we have to look at all the positives, and from the AIFF point of view, I think they are doing a fantastic job for the national team. As that much AIFF can do to reach out to everyone in the country. India is a very, very big and a very, very diverse country, and to reach out to everyone is actually very difficult. What I think is possible is for all the stakeholders be a resource platform for the people who need help, the people who need access to resources, the people who need access to training, and connect them with so many stakeholders who are service providers for the industry. So I can do towards building this ecosystem. We can't only depend on the AIFF to do everything. I think the AIFF has its hands full with the national teams and dealing with all the state associations. And I think they're doing a fairly decent job. The visual and each person or enterprise who wants to get into women's football to take it upon themselves to develop this game further.
Nice. So, Henry, what kind of commitment do you ball? What kind of steps do you think they need to take to perform at the highest level?
Yep. I think we should understand one thing is that men's football has evolved much more than women's football in India. And looking at the conservative areas of rural and urban in women's football at the time being. But I think it's very encouraging to understand that with the World Cup coming up, it's going to be a catalyst to change the entire dynamics of football in India. There will be more girls participating in this sports in this sport as we look at the legacy program of FIFA that is going to be in place for the next 5 years from the next year. And it's going to be a very good progression right from the non-elite that we talk about. Non-elite is something that is not a professional approach or competition approach. It's going to be interesting to see that format unfold as the World Cup takes place. There'll be a lot of football happening around for women. And because of the safety priority that we need to give women, there's going to be a lot of monitoring done, and there's going to be a lot of work that an individual has to take responsibility and accountability, especially the state. And we're going to have a lot of stakeholders getting into it, like the DSO, maybe the schools, MSSA, or the school associations around the state. We're going to have the NGOs. They're going to have clubs, academies. Everybody going to participate into making this a big flair before the World Cup, and also for the legacy program. There will be the government versus the government and associations and the district get in connection with each other to really spread this game all over. Initially, it'll be like 4 to 6 districts to start off with, but in coming 2 years, we need to expand it more than 70% in the state actually. But it's going to be interesting because today we're talking about opportunities for girls. There are not much. The IWL last year could not really bring that attraction of career building or payment to kids. Very few of them got it today. It will be the ISL, the I leagues will need to participate in these programs to really encourage and motivate kids to stay with the game. 17, they want to withdraw from the game. If there's an opportunity of career, they'll definitely stay with the game. So it's a great motivation that's going to be a part of the big plan to encourage girls to football. And I think every stakeholder will take its responsibility to really progress this from non-elite to move them into the elite. So what I mean by non-elite is the grassroots. Non-elite is something that even a 6 to 12 years old kid can participate. Even a 16 to 17 or 20 or 40 years old girl can participate, or woman can participate, but it will be a grassroots program because now AFC terms grassroots as non-elite. If they're not into a professional level, they are grassroots. How this entire thing unfolds as the government and the state association and the federation get together. And with this pandemic, which is a real great hurdle, we have to find opportunities in these challenging times to see how we can spread this game to every part. Gender equality, we're talking about it, and I feel that yes, it's a not so evolved program. We always wherever you go in the world, it is second to men's, and that's the level that we want to bring up. We've seen other sports coming up to levels, especially in payment structures. The Wimbledon has brought in parity between women, and I think that slowly and steadily many of these sports will come in par with more awareness and education and growth and evolving in the system. So yes, it is a great challenge for all associations and the federation. At the same time, yes, like Anjali said, it has to move across with parity, giving equal opportunity for everybody. And we look forward that will be great times for Indian women to find career in it will be a great fun time that.
Nice. So there are a lot of people who are attending the webinar right now who are young girls who want to participate in football eventually. So Anjali, at this point of time, is pursuing a career as a footballer in India for women an option?
Honestly, totally depends on what your goal is and how you are structured in society. Basically, I mean, if you are going to be someone whose family depends on your earning, certainly not. But if it is someone who is not dependent, whose family is not dependent on the player in India today, because it is very, very difficult to make a career abroad in football. There are a lot of agents who are promising girls to play abroad in 6th, 7th, 8th division clubs and charging them about 15 to 20 kind of money and play in Spain or in UK or wherever. I mean, it just makes zero sense to pay money and play over there. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Rather than that, I would say play in India, play for an IWL club and get scouted, and hopefully make it to the national team. Don't waste your money playing in a 7th, 8th, 9th division club after paying money. It makes zero sense to me.
Nice. Henry, do you have an opinion on this, or whether girls should look towards going abroad or playing in India?
Who looks abroad or who looks outside the borders? What Anjali is trying to say is that now we're talking about the under 13s, under 15s, and under 17s, which are going to be part of the system with the AIFF association. So automatically there will be opportunities to play for a club, to play for your district, to play for your state, and then AIFF coming will be spread around the country with 26 centers. It's going to be interesting to see how many girls participate in. So it's important to create a progress or a process where we talk in the system is that inflow has to come in, there's returning, and then the outflow. So yeah, we're trying to say that let us make programs to stay around over here because they get the opportunity. And if we can give them 30 to 35 matches in a year, I bet on it. Nobody will want to cross the border. And that's going to be interesting. And plus, we need to give recognition to women because most of the girls play a 5-a-side, a 7-a-side, which has got more recognition. But yeah, for recreation, it is fantastic. But we need to create opportunities at levels in the district. We need to create levels at the state level. We need to create levels at the national level so that there is a progression, there is a motivation, there is inspiration, and we create icons like Asha Devi. She's been the captain of India. She's moved up. Bembem Devi was one girl who played in Maldives. Even Pala Devi played in Maldives professional football. So it is great in professional setup, but not in a setup where they could get equal response in India. So my advice would be, if you don't get opportunities in India, move abroad if you have the money, and if you have it, if AIFF has created that opportunity, make use of it and grow from there. So it is interesting that way. So my submission will be that wait and watch. It's a fantastic time. The entire demography and the scale, the landscape of women's football in India, and I think everybody will need to participate in that manner. So my only words are that yes, you have to be patient. India is a conservative area in rural especially, but looking at the national team. We are getting more players from the rural areas, which is also very heartening. So our job is to create a system, and I think AIFF is doing a fantastic job with getting big events every 2 years and creating a structure for all the
Abhay,
kids.
I'd like to just add something here.
Go ahead.
If you go abroad on merit, like Bala Devi did, I'm all for it. Okay, so if you actually get to play in a team like the Rangers, on inspiration for so many other people to follow. But also, if you're studying abroad and you get an opportunity to play in your college team or whatever, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But like I said, if you to pay to go and play abroad is what I am against.
Yeah. All right. So, Anjali, you've been involved with Indian football. So, what would you say from when you started out in Indian football to now? How has women's football progressed over the years? And do you see a good growth happening?
Absolutely fantastic growth. And especially in the last 5 years, it's been tremendous. I suddenly feel everyone is taking the women's game very seriously. And people are actually thinking there is hope. I completely believe the Indian women's national team will reach the FIFA with that. And I feel even state associations are now encouraging IWL qualifiers. In fact, Maharashtra this year had almost 24 women's teams from Maharashtra. Eventually, 18 of them played the qualifying round, and I thought that was fantastic. And there has been a change there. We are developing women positions. I think I can speak for myself. I'm a woman on the executive committee of the All India Football Federation that speaks lots about how India encourages women's participation. And of course, getting the under-17 FIFA World Cup has been like the icing on the cake. The president's efforts in getting this game to India is going to have a fantastic effect on how football is going to just go over the top in our country, and more women are going to be encouraged to play this game. I personally believe football can be used as a tool should be kept in mind while spreading the popularity of this game.
Definitely, I agree with that completely. For the attendees, can you message me privately if you want to ask a question? I'll ask it for you. Like Anjali just now mentioned, in Maharashtra, there are lots of clubs who participate in the IWL qualifiers itself. So, Henry, obviously the WIFA has given them so many opportunities, and this is why people are more encouraged to actually start up clubs in Mumbai. Of how FIFA set up a platform for that to happen. You're on mute.
Abhay, I need to actually leave in the next 4-5 minutes.
Okay, let us.
So what I will just wrap this up. So it's stating that it's important to have a vision for your state or for your country. That's very important for any guy who's on top of our president Patel, who's brought in and would promise that every 2 years we'll bring in a big event to India, and he's delivered that. And this is going to be the third event that India has bagged into its pocket to really make an impact for the rise of a case that when you create a vision, you always want to give opportunities. If you create opportunities, there are people to take it. If you don't create opportunities, there is nobody to take it. So my effort and create inspiring models of programs for the girls, increase the capacity of resources. For example, like open up your doors for women to participate in all verticals that are available in the state. I think everybody will latch on to that bandwagon. I think that's important. If Anjali can remember that we started with Mumbai Mirror Girls tournament, 125 teams participated, and I didn't know from where these girls came in. There were school girls, there were academies, there were college girls, they were busy. That passion we could see, and we thought that yes, if the AIFF can create an opportunity at the national level, we will create an opportunity at the state level and the district level, and that's exactly what we did. We went on to live streaming. If you know, we had a good amount of following on that. We had good response. The academies try to become clubs and try to participate in the program, and we allowed everybody. You know, there were certain times that there was always a question mark in our deep pockets, like Aurangabad or places like that at that district level. But interestingly, what happened last year was that Kolhapur FC, and I'm sorry to say this, PIFA, Anjali, because at last there was a tussle and they qualified for the IWL, and you also had a fantastic team. And that competitiveness of quality attraction for more and more girls to really participate. I think PIFA did a fantastic job. There were so many, like 18 clubs came in to be a part of it and experience it. It's not that everybody wanted to win. It was the experience, like infrastructure to work out an hour a day or hour a week or 2 hours a week on iconic stadiums and places, then I believe there is a lot of scope in that. And like Anjali said, that maybe women's football might reach the World Cup more faster than men's football, because there's a good chance if we can come into the top 25 or top 10, and then we get weaker teams to get into play with. So it's a fantastic opportunity, and I think we should not leave this. As India, like she said, women empowerment is a big sentence, and a big sentence to attract women to come in power in this society at a platform to really look up for a career in football. It's fun. Vision has to be there in each association, and we should take up from there.
Henry, Abhay, I'd just like to say something. Henry, actually, I would like to credit you with the Mumbai Mirror tournament. The Mumbai Mirror tournament was actually the beginning of the series, the truth. The Mumbai Mirror tournament was the tournament where we had 400 or 500 girls on the Cooperage pitch at one time. And wow, there are so many women in football, and there were school girls, there were corporate girls, there were girls from colleges, there were girls from NGOs. It was an incredible atmosphere, and I remember staying there the whole day, probably 8 or 10 hours. We were just there.
Yes, must have played that Zumba also.
We did the Zumba session in the middle. It was an incredible experience. And I think that was the beginning of everyone getting mental in doing that. So credit goes to you for that.
Every stakeholder is important in Indian. I'm very happy with that.
Great. So Henry, I know you have to leave. Thank you so much for being part of the panel.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm really. There's so many people in this participants who are really the UEFA and FIFA referees, also Liebert and Destin. Bangalore is also here on the forum. I've seen a lot of names out over here who are so keen and eagerly waiting to hear us. So thank you very much for your patience. Thank you for this fantastic football and football around you. So congratulations and thank you.
Thanks, Henry. Bye. Take care.
See you. Anjali, I hope you don't mind staying for Q&A session.
Absolutely not. Women's football is my favorite topic. I could talk till the cows come home. Don't worry.
Awesome. Okay, so being someone who's actually invested into women's football yourself, what would you say to other potential investors into Indian football? Would you, like, if you had to make a pitch to other investors, how would you?
Basically, let me tell you, I have 2 sons. I don't have any daughters. Yet, in 2008, when I took up the Maharashtra State Women's Under-14 team as a manager, it changed my life. It actually changed my life and my entire outlook towards the game, because I involved with the women's game. When women play football, it's not about just playing football. There's so much more to what can be done for a woman through the game. It empowers you. It teaches you to. It helps you in leadership roles. I mean, these are qualities that also possibly are there in the men's game. But in the context of an Indian woman, it means so much. It absolutely means so much. And I'm very proud to say that under-14 team that we went with to Chennai came runners-up in the tournament, and that was the first time the Maharashtra women's team had actually scored so well. And we had a bunch of 25 girls. And because we came second, a return trip from Chennai by air. And believe it or not, I think maybe half the team, the girls were the first person in the family who had actually flown in a plane. And to see the emotion of the parents, all that in 2008, thanking us and saying, oh my God, my daughter was the first person in our family to actually sit on an aeroplane. Things like that. These are things that makes it so much more worthwhile to be involved in the women's game. And of course, going forward to the World Cup coming to India, I mean, that's just absolutely spectacular. I think there are so many Indian women who are doing very, very well in the administrative roles. There are so many women doing well in coaching roles. There are women doing brilliantly as players. They are setting their mark over there. They are becoming role models for future generations to come. So yeah, I think I would say that's one.
Nice. So we have a question from Tanya Singh. She's asking, are women being accepted, as well as are there any opportunities in the technical field of sports, which includes performance analysis and performance analysis, basically?
Anyone can be a performance analyst as long as you understand the game and you know your job. I don't see why you can't be a performance analyst.
Yeah. So could you share like a few? What would be your strategy in order to actually commercialize women's football? Because what you see right now is the problem. The reason that women footballers aren't being paid well is because not that many people invested into it. So how would you go about it?
Okay, so basically, as far as commercialization of the game is concerned, FIFA has a mandate also to commercialize the game all over the world. And in keeping with the mandate of FIFA, clubs, associations all across the world are trying to bring in more sponsors, more broadcasts that actually monetize the game. When you have a commercial partner, when you have sponsors, when you have broadcasters, these are the people who will actually bring in the money, which can actually go, which will trickle down to the players as better salaries. Okay. In the meanwhile, at a grassroots level, I would say it's very, very important for small establishments, small clubs, small academies to also have a sustainable model. Okay, so you have to have a model whereby you do charge people who can afford it and put in the money, a certain amount of money into supporting your activities of supporting women's football. Okay, if you say that I am going to wait for the association to give me money, that's never going to happen. If you say I'm going to wait for someone to come and give me money, that's never going to happen. You know, it's like God helps those who help themselves. It's pretty much the same in football. You know, you need to help yourself. You need to think of sustainable ways of keeping your academy going, keeping your effort. I am creating an alliance where I'm going to be sharing my experience of 17 years with anyone and everyone who wants it. We're going to come up with a platform where people can interact, offer resources as well as gain resources. And we're going to try and basically create this whole ecosystem that will help the game develop for women in India.
Yeah, that's really great. So I've been following like all your work for a few months ever since I spoke to you for the first time. And you're honestly doing a great job for women's football. So a big challenge that I see among my friends group that I went to school with, I had lots of classmates who were girls who regularly participated in inter-school football, but they didn't have the platform to play. They didn't have people around them who were interested in playing. So how would you tackle this issue of drop in participation after
So
school
yeah,
level
Abhay, so
football?
basically that is an issue. First of all, it's very difficult to get women into football, and then it is even more difficult to keep them engaged for a longer time. Okay, so yeah, we have to make all efforts to get in girls earlier and make sure that they stay longer in the game. Now, this can only happen if we show the girl and the parents of the girl a roadmap. Today, I don't expect anyone to give up their studies. I think that's the worst thing you can do is to give up your studies to play football. That is not the way it goes. You have to continue studying. Okay, time management is of essence over here. You need to be able to manage two schedules. And you know, I am all state girls. The Maharashtra state girls play for the football teams. They go to college, they study, they excel in their studies. Okay, they do extracurricular activities and they do so much more, which is why I have always promoted a tremendous job, because not only do they have to manage their football life, they have to manage their studies and education, and they're all, I know, from very high rating curriculums. You know, not any curriculum that is not needed to attend school and stuff. So I have a great amount of respect for all the Mumbai football players who have managed it.
Nice. Satya, sir, you have a question. Can you please come on camera and ask it?
Yeah, yeah, Anjali,
Hi,
Satya
Satya
here.
sir.
Yeah. I just wanted to know, like, apart from IWL, there is no other event, like, for example, how we used to have the Durand Cup, So do you think, I mean, there could be a move to have such an event? Because once these professional girls play IWL after the state and the national event, there's absolutely no event for them. So if someone like you could step in 3-4 places, like a circuit, so at least for 2-3 months, they keep
You're
playing.
absolutely right, Satya sir, because I think playing and participating in competition is one of the most important aspects to improve the games throughout the year. And that covers your district association, your IWL qualifiers. And if you're lucky and you make it, then you get another 8-10 games in the final round. You're absolutely right. And like I told you, I am going to get in touch with you. We are definitely going to do something like this, where we will have more competitions for women and women from all states. And we will give the between states. I think what is important today is collaboration. I don't think anyone can do this on their own. You know, anyone who tries to say, oh, I know everything and I'm going to do everything by myself and I don't need anyone else, that is a short stage where we are so many stakeholders who all wish well for women's football, and we all need to collaborate and work together and exchange resources and exchange information and be a part of each other's growth story. So I think that is absolutely what you're saying is very, very valid, and I am going to get in touch with you very shortly about
Thank
this.
you, thank you.
Yeah, so for everyone who doesn't know who Satya sir is, the General Secretary of Karnataka State Football Association. So it's really nice to have you
Thank
on
you, Abhi.
attending this.
There's another question, Abhay. There's another question. I'll just read it from the chat.
Sure.
The question is from Savio Fernandez to everyone and directed to me. Do we need to be an accredited club for participation budget? You suggest we need to have to sustain one season with the IWL team. Very, very good question, Savio. Basically, no. Right now, you don't need to have any club accreditation to take part in the IWL, because we're trying to reach out to as many women as possible. To have a fairly decent chance of qualifying for the IWL final round, the qualifying round, which involves about 6 months of training with your team, works out to approximately the final round. And this also includes a few outstation players from other places. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Anjali, we have one question for you. Tanya is asking how to do an internship.
It's very easy. You can get in touch with me if you want to be a part of my team. I've given my email address already. If anyone wants to be, and I can even connect you to other IWL teams. Time commitment, I'll be happy to help anyone who wants to be a part of any women's team in India. Happy to help out. Thank you, everyone. Pleasure being here. Lovely chatting with you, Lee. We'll be in touch.
No problem. No, thank you very much, everybody, and stay safe in this virus.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye bye now.
See you.
Bye bye. Bye bye.